First official batch of hydroponic kale. Very earthy. Pretty freaking good. So I'm currently in the back of that house I checked out in the middle of the night the other day. Check this out. It's like it's a unique freaking house. And I have no other words to describe how I'm feeling. Aside from, I freaking love it, dude. I'm in complete and utter love. I have been known to fall quickly with ideas, but I did a lot of investigation yesterday. I laid out a bunch of different information, and I started to investigate pricing and all that stuff. It's listed at 90. It's been on Zillow for 150 days. It's got a lot of work that needs done, like a lot more than I'm frankly capable of with my current skill set. But in my particular case, with 7 years being here basically guaranteed, I have a lot of time to work with. And now time is going to be my biggest friend here, which rarely is. We've had our battles in the past, but since I have so much time, I can very slowly chip away at this if it becomes a project, and it's going to need a lot of chipping away at. But I love the location. It's 4 minutes on my e-bike with a red light. Like, that's when I timed it, I had a red light. It was 4 minutes. So highly doable. They commute. The house, I think, is 2,500 square feet, which is a lot for me, especially. I love the property. Like, let's see. So yeah, there's the back. Whole bunch of that probably will need trimmed in some form or fashion. But then right back here, I just have some nice real estate to work with, and even right there. So realistically, like, the price is there. My desire to be here is there. I believe with almost all my heart the safety is completely fine. I just love it, dude. I freaking love this spot. There's not much more past that. So the next step for me are going to be kind of figuring out the rest of the information in terms of, purchasing and how pricing would work. I need to tour it. My biggest worry right now, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be whether or not it passes inspection. The chimney looks I think there's 3 chimneys on this thing, which I've never even heard of. But there's some spots on the chimney where it looks pretty rough. Now, I looked into it slightly, and it could be a DIY project. I think it's called, I forget, like turn tuckling or something. So it's doable. But like a lot of this house, it's going to need work. It's going to need a lot of research too. It's going to be a big time commitment. But like I said, I have time. And I think if I were to get it for a reasonable price, obviously interest rates and down payment, all this stuff comes together, I think I can be sitting around $500 a month. And $500 a month is very good. Very good. That obviously doesn't include the cost of the various renovations I will need to do. But just having a place to sleep for $500 in this area that's close to where I'm going to school, elite. Doesn't get better than that. I mean, I think, what is that? If I'm working like $20 an hour, what is that? I don't know, like $25, not 25 hours a month. So I'm gonna be okay, even if it gets down to like emergency time. And I'm running low on funds, which I sure hope I don't. But that's where I'm at, man. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be a stinger if it doesn't work out. As far as my intuition goes, I don't think it will. I don't think there's any chance of it working out. I mean, there is technically a chance, but I would guess I don't want to film a murder. I have to kill this lanternfly. Rest in peace. 10% chance of working out, if that. 90% no. How bad I want it? Probably about 85% yes, 15% no. The only reservation is if it ends up requiring more money than I have or I'm able to put into it. So that's the main risk that's associated with it. But yep, that's what I'm also, I forgot to mention. So to my knowledge, there's the house. I also get this entire lot. It's actually perfect because that's the front door. Just a testament to how much work it needs done. Good freaking man. Yeah. Now my reservation with the lot, while it is super cool, it's on a pretty gnarly slant. I would guess maybe 5 degrees or so. So I don't know if it's buildable necessarily. That would be a big problem if I ever try to sell it in times of emergency. I have no desire to sell it. I love a good lot. I think it provides a lot of just like, and where I'm at right now, like space is such a premium, and that right there is just a nice space that I can do whatever I want with. I could put a greenhouse there. I could do other stuff. I don't really know, but I could do like community events. I could hold a cookout. I don't know. But it's the other big thing I don't think I mentioned back there, but it's in the Upper Hill District. So adjacent to the Hill District, which is, as I mentioned, widely regarded as highly dangerous. I don't think it's as dangerous as they say. And even when I look up the statistics, where I'm at, the Upper Hill is considerably less dangerous than the main hill, which again is probably overrated as it stands. But it's a community. Like, that's in Oakland, where I typically stay. There's no such thing as community. You may talk about it, but it's just a bunch of students that get in and out in 4 years. There's nobody really living there. And if they are, they don't want anything to do with students because they're students. So being here would give me the opportunity to be a part of a community and hopefully, in this case, contribute to its regrowth, because it's been so abandoned for so many years. So I think that's all I got. I mean, I got my whole document written up that I don't recall every single point I made on there, but I can tell you that's where my head's at right now. And it's gonna sting when it probably doesn't work, but if it does work, it's gonna be one of the coolest things I get to do in my life. Check that out. Dead end sidewalk, basically. So I had to make this treacherous move. I have an order too. I mean, here's my next cross. This is essentially a death trap. So I just gotta get my bike up over, pick the opportune moment, and shoot across. I can do it. It's a prime example of life telling you not to do something, and you do it anyway. Do not learn from that. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever done. Living in your mind now. Too late, 'cause you're mine now. Come on, Schnog, come say hi to the camera. Come say hi to the camera. Look at the camera, say hi. Look. Alright, everybody, this is Luna. Hear that, Luna? The 8-year-old English bulldog. She's a very healthy little girl. She's not even a little girl. She is a grown woman. So it's a beautiful Schnog. This is one of my best buddies right here. I just love the Schnog so much. So, what are you looking at, Snoggy Doggy Doo? Schnog likes being outside. I'm currently back at my childhood residence. I'm just coming home to take care of the dog for a couple hours as my parents are at a football game. Pretty much just hanging out right now, and I thought I'd give my thoughts on a recent film that I went out to watch. I actually have to give double review. So first review we'll do of Ryan Trahan's, what are they called? Joyride candies. They got those sour blue raspberry strips. I think they were $5 for 3.5 ounces, so the price is pretty steep. Compared to most conventional candies, it's about 3-ish times more expensive. So it's kind of steep, but as far as the health goes, I haven't dug super deep into it, but from my knowledge and where I stand right now, they are significantly healthier than regular candies. And I will go as far to say as they taste just as good. I pretty much devoured that little bag. It took me, you know, I was trying to take it slow, and it was a matter of minutes. So, got through those pretty quick as I was watching this movie, but it was a fantastic little treat and a more guilt-free experience than most, if not all, candies I've had in the past. So the movie I went to go watch was called Twinless. Twinless is what it was called. I had not seen a single trailer or heard anything about it prior to going. The person who I went with actually was the motivation for us going. We saw it in the Mount Lebanon theaters, AMC. So it was pretty comfortable, pretty nice. I just got in there, hanging out, you know, hey, we're moving along in the movie. And let me tell you this. The premise, I'm not going to spoil too much. I'll give you a quick overview of the premise. But it's kind of about this one guy who loses his twin brother. And after losing said twin brother, goes to a support group where he meets another guy who seems to have gone through a very similar situation in losing his twin brother, and they come together through that. And then it explores different, I'm not going to spoil anything, because I think it's a very interesting movie. Maybe 20 minutes in, you get the first big twist, and I think it's a real special twist. So I'm obviously not going to spoil it or anything. That being said, that was a spectacular movie, and I went in expecting it was going to be at best. The reason we went was the person I went with is a huge fan of Dylan O'Brien. Dylan O'Brien, I don't know too much about him, but I have a fairly strong opinion of him based on the Love and Monsters movie. If you've ever seen that, that was a fantastic movie. And he was the main part of that. So I was pretty eager to see what this film would cover, and I thought, number one, Dylan O'Brien's acting was fantastic. He played two of the main twins, mostly in one of the two twins, maybe 70 to 80% of the time he's in that one character, as opposed to his twin brother. And, he is a fantastic actor. I knew he was good, but, I feel like I underrated him, and he's significantly higher on my list now after this one. Secondly, his co-star, I believe his name is James Sweeney. James Sweeney played, I think his name was Dennis in the film. He directed and he wrote this entire movie. And my hat is expunged from my head. If that's, no. Propelled. I don't know if I have my right vocab there, but I'm going to say it was lifted off my head to tip just in his direction. He did a fantastic job with this movie. There were some shots, cinematography-wise, splendid. I could think of the one little museum where the three main characters were in. There were some beautiful shots there. There was one, what was it, like he was on the phone or something. It was like you were traversing, you know, like when you're in the bathroom and there's a mirror in front of you, there's a mirror behind you, and there's that infinity mirror thing. It was kind of like you were traveling in one direction through that, but each time you got to a new layer of that, it was a different moment in the story, different moment in time in the same location. It was beautiful. And for him to just put in that much effort into the movie, and they went to some lengths too. Like, this wasn't just to show up and act. There was some physical commitment too. It was just a splendid movie. It made you feel things. It was visceral. It was like heart-wrenching. It made you think. You know, clearly there was... Oh, I loved how it made you think. Because a lot of times in life, it's easy to kind of categorize other people's decisions as maybe you'll say evil, you'll say unjustified, you'll say unreasonable, things like that. But if you really follow this story and you really give each character their respect and allow them to, you know, be an entity that is capable of making their own rational decisions, the movie makes you think. And I think that's a beautiful thing anytime a movie can pull that off. And when you're able to really think about decisions that you would otherwise label so irrational, it gives you new perspective on the world. A new perspective. And in this case, I think the big overarching theme was loneliness and attachment. And I thought it pulled off those themes beautifully, both romantically and in terms of family. It was a cool freaking movie. So I'd give it out of 10. I'm going to give that sucker... I think when I walked out of the theater, I gave it an 8.1 or 8.2. I'm going to bump it up to an 8.7. Especially for what it is, it's like... It's up there. Like, it's... For where its ceiling was, I'd say its ceiling, like, you only get about a 9 on a movie like that, and then hit the 8.7. So it was a great movie. Here's what I will say. I remember thinking I had never seen any marketing for this specific movie at all. None at all. None. No marketing. So maybe, you know, think I only pretty much saw this movie by rare chance, and if I'm seeing it by rare chance, or even hearing about it by rare chance, what are other people doing? So who's actually coming out to watch this movie? On top of that, it was an LGBTQIA plus film, so that already starts to cut off a decent bit of potential interested viewers. So I was like, what is the box office? The box office was, I think, about a week after releasing, 560,000. So then I'm like, well, if it's a relatively low budget, that's not too bad. The budget was $70 million. So they made up maybe, I don't know what that is, like 3%, 2 or 3% of that. But I think it might actually be less than 2% of that budget. And that really didn't sit right with me. And it still doesn't sit right with me. I know a lot of people, myself included, love to call for like more original movies, more, you know, creativity in Hollywood and things like that. But when push comes to shove, nobody comes out and takes the chance to watch these kind of movies. If it wasn't for the person I went with, I'm not watching this movie. There's no chance of going to theater to watch this movie.
And I'm probably not even going to see it when it goes on whatever streaming it'll end up on. So we look at something like Sinners, which I also watched earlier this year, and that was a spectacular movie as well. One of the best I've ever seen, I would say. And the second that drops, a bunch of people watch it, blows up on social media, everybody loves it. And then the call for more original movies, more creativity, more new things getting tossed into the strange world of production that is Hollywood. And then the fire from that moment dies down. And that moment, the one I'm referring to, is that moment of a mass of people saying, we want creativity, we want originality. That is only created because of an original movie by a massive director in Ryan Coogler, a massive actor, Michael B. Jordan. On top of that, that massive actor is doing a very brave, it is a brave thing, but a eye-catching thing in playing two roles, two characters, again, twins actually. And then you have a massive actress in Haley Steinfeld, and you have kind of an superstar lineup. So if you need a superstar lineup just for people to take a chance on your movie, and then you need that chance to impress those people who will then help it blow up on social media, that's not a recipe that can be easily, not manufactured, replicated. So we call for a lot of originality, and we love when we see something new, we love when we see something original, but we're not willing to take the chance on other things and other directors to essentially support those original ideas we're calling for. And that doesn't sit right with me. That it doesn't sit right viewing outwardly, and nor does it sit right viewing inwardly. I'm someone who prides themselves on creativity, originality, an undying fear to be oneself. And when I sit around for so much of my day and I'll just like watch YouTube or I'll watch Instagram and just drone my day away. While there's other people out there who have poured their heart, soul, vulnerability, emotion to create something that's like truly artful, something that can resonate with you emotionally, help you learn through something, help you gain perspective on the life, gain the perspective on the life of other people. And I sit around just like a little drone. That makes me sick with myself. And that's a hard truth to sit with. And I think one thing I need to really learn over and over again, not only do I need to relearn it, but I need to find a way to hold on to it and not forget it. But if you can't sit with something, you need to get off your ass. Plain and simple. And I feel like I have been sitting with so many things, and I've just been lazy. I've been too lazy. And I need to get off my ass before I can preach to the world about it. But I think that's, like, we all gotta do that. We all gotta start embracing human-driven living rather than data-driven living. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about that it's a pretty big statement with complexities layered throughout, but that's what I'm gonna lay. I'm gonna leave it on that. I've decided to get off my ass right now, and I am going to go love on my dog. I'm gonna put stuff in my room, and I'm gonna go back home and see if I can do something cool. Check it.
Okay. So I probably held off making this part of the video for 3-ish days now. It's gonna be a pretty big tone switch. I presume most of these videos, if they ever do get any viewers, most of those viewers will be watching what I'm about to say next in retrospect. So what I'm going to be talking about is the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm far from the first person to talk about it. Today is September 13th, Saturday. He passed away on Tuesday, I believe. Whichever day is the 10th. Maybe that's Wednesday. It's been a conflicting, kind of philosophical couple of days for me. The gut reaction was difficult for me. I am far, very, very far from a supporter of Charlie Kirk or an agreeer of a lot of things that he says. There's a lot of things that he does that I don't respect, that I think are huge negatives on who he is as a person. But dually, there is a lot about him that I vehemently respect. I respect his undying, pure dedication to his mission, which was doing what is right. In his mind, obviously me and him probably disagree with what is right, disagree on the basis of what is right, but his dedication to that goal is nothing short of admirable. It's highly respectable, and it's very American, very what an American should do, in the sense that fight for what they think is right. And he never did it in a violent fashion, in my opinion. He was very focused on discourse. I disagree with the way that he went about his discourse at times. Not a lot of times, but who he is as a person really doesn't affect how you should feel in response to him being assassinated in front of his family, in front of hundreds of people, and the video of that assassination being shared around the world, viewed by millions, maybe one day billions of people. I mean, it's hard to sit in this moment and know that people are celebrating the death of that man, celebrating the fashion in which his death came about. I didn't watch the video, I refused to watch it, but I have a good idea of what it looked like. And it was brutal, it was violent. Ugly. Nobody should die like that. Of course, there's a few exceptions in the world and world history, but he did not deserve that. He did not deserve death. Like I said, I disagree with him on a lot of things, but it hurts me to know that there's people out there that celebrate this. That celebration is just going to lead us further and further away from each other. He's going to die a martyr. I have no doubt about that. And I have no desire to make a racially based statement here, but
to demonstrate the principle of him kind of dying and becoming a warrior. I do believe, and I truly, if this is incorrect, I take back what I'm about to say, but I remember, I think, one time before Dr. Martin Luther King, someone who I deeply admire and respect, before he was assassinated, I believe he was asked about the potential of his assassination. They said, Dr. King, you know, there's, as you gain popularity and the movement that you're this basically the leader of gains traction, are you worried about being assassinated? And what he essentially said was, in the grand scheme of things, no. Because he knew that he would become more powerful in death than he ever could have been in life. And that's what frustrates me, too, in the sense that a lot of these people who may disagree with Charlie Kirk are celebrating his death and his demise, and what they don't seem to realize is that his death is gonna make what they hate stronger. So everything that Charlie Kirk fought for is going to, in my opinion, gain more traction, as did the civil rights movement. And I fear that the void that is left by Charlie Kirk is going to be filled by someone or a group of people who are even further from what I and many of these similar-minded people believe to be true, or where we need to go with the country. One of those people is Nick Fuentes, who actually I think I've heard the name. I never heard much from him though, prior to a couple days ago. But he is, suffice to say, quite the character. And he says things that Charlie Kirk, I could never imagine coming out of his mouth. And I feel like he is going to rise. And he's going to rise quick. His rhetoric is going to spread. I know he's big on the conspiracy theories. He's big on what was once deemed hate speech. He's big on using vocabulary that is probably something he shouldn't say. It's going to make people more and more comfortable with that rhetoric. It's going to lead them more and more down a path of, in my opinion, hate and polarization. And that's all secondary to the fact that, you know, Charlie Kirk died and people are celebrating. That's the main thing I want to talk about, is that a man was assassinated on, like, it was like a spectacle. It's something everyone else to see, and like, I can't. Someone very close to me who actually told me that he died said that they wanted to celebrate. And I've always been, I like to think I've been very tolerant of different perspectives, and I've been very okay with being close to people who are have very different opinions on life and different perspectives and things like that. But when I read that text, it makes it very difficult. Someone who's very, very close to me. It's a shame. Like, how do we get here? I've been alive for 22 years, dude, and a fraction of those I've been conscious. I remember when I was in 8th grade, think that was the last time I was truly optimistic about life. 8th grade for me was 2017. So my world was already starting to get politicized. I don't know, I just remember thinking in 8th grade that like there would come a time where everything was going to be good, amazing, my friends would be friends, the world would keep getting better. I'd be excited to be a part of it, excited to live in it. Now here I am, like on the brink of tears, for a guy that I didn't even like, him dying. The death of a man I just despise is a strong word, but who I strongly dislike. And I'm on the brink of crying. While others are celebrating. Others who I agree with on a lot of things too. Philosophically, we probably have a lot of similarities. I don't know if you can tell, we're kind of like this orange, hazy time of the day. These are kind of rare days. They're beautiful days in Pittsburgh, though. It comes up on camera. I don't know. You know, I'm trying to dedicate a lot of my life to making the world better. Seems like the world doesn't want to get better. I was a freshman in college a couple years ago. I had a close friend who, intelligent kid, about high school intelligent kid. First got into high school, you really got into, high school into college, you got into big time into weed. And I know they say weed isn't addictive, but you know, this particular instance, it seemed quite addictive. And I remember talking to him about it. So something I rarely did was like confront people about things like that, especially in their own life, their own decision. But it's that time we had a conversation. And I came out of that, and it was tough for me to come out. I felt like I didn't make any ground. He didn't really take me seriously. And after a couple of days, I realized that I had done everything I probably could have. I can't change the way he acts. I can't help him unless he wants my help and feels like he needs help. He's a very close friend of mine. And I haven't talked to him 3 years. And I'm never sure if I feel guilt about that or not. But the point of me saying that, and the lesson that I learned from that experience, is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I've wanted to believe for a lot of my life that this world really wants to drink. They're really thirsty. And if I put in enough time to my own life and I put enough effort into understanding the world around me, that I could be one of the people that helped it find the water it needed so desperately. For many of those years, a lot of my internal struggles were doubting my ability to find that water and build up myself as a person or as an entity that's capable of finding the water and giving it to the world. But now I have to live both with the doubt that I'm able to find it and that the world wants it at all. I wonder if there was ever a time in the history of humanity when it wasn't a strange time to be alive. I guess modern humanity is what I mean. All just a bunch of cavemen living in a world that's much too complex for us. I will say, is that I don't think many of the change makers in the history of time were ever too concerned whether or not the world wanted to hear what they had to say. I think that kind of conviction comes from within. When something is born from within, it can never be killed from something from without. It's such a good way to phrase that. That could be a good quote, but I can't phrase it properly. Essentially, if my goals stay baked inside of my being, then nothing on the outside of my being can eliminate them, kill them. So if I really want to make change in this world, I'm going to do everything I can to find that water and make myself capable of giving that water to the world. Very, very thirsty world, I hope. Strangely, in the same way that Charlie Kirk tried to do. Okay. I think we'll end it there. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. May God bless his family, his 2 children. May God bless America, for it is deeply in need.